My name is Ava Ramirez, and for 3 years I was the person they called when things fell apart. The can you just take a look person. The quick favor person. The invisible backbone that kept the team standing while other people took the bow. Then the Falcon Ridge account landed on my desk, our biggest client in a decade. If it went well, my manager said, the promotion I'd been promised twice would finally make sense on paper. I poured myself into it. Late nights blurred into weekends. I skipped my cousin's wedding to meet a deadline. I learned the client's business so well I could recite their revenue lines like lyrics. I rebuilt our forecast model from scratch, coded the dashboard, wrote the narrative, and coached the junior analysts. Every file was mined down to the cell formulas, every slide a fingerprint I could recognize. The night before the executive pitch, I sent the final deck to my boss, Brendan, with a tidy email, attaching the finished presentation, notes for you in the speaker view. See you at 9 a.m., Ava. He replied with a thumbs up and a looks great. 9 a.m. came. The room filled with VPs, the client dialed in, and Brendan plugged in the HDMI. The first slide clicked up, Falcon Ridge FY Roadmap. My name wasn't on it. At first I thought he'd grabbed an earlier version. Then I noticed more changes, the color palette swapped, a few charts reordered, my speaker notes stripped. Brendan smiled and said, I'm excited to walk you through my team's solution. He stressed the "my" like a thumb pressing on a bruise. He presented my work word for word, the customer cohorting I had invented, the risk heat map, even the closing no regrets plan that took me 2 sleepless nights. When the CFO asked a technical question, Brendan parroted my talking points. When the client praised the depth, Brendan said, I've been pushing us to this level. I sat there, pen steady, stomach inverted, telling myself to wait, don't derail the meeting, the result matters more than the credit. It ended with handshakes and applause. The VP clapped Brendan on the shoulder, this is why you're here. When the room emptied, I said, careful and quiet, you took my name off the deck. Brendan didn't blink. It's not about names, he said. It's about outcomes. Besides, it reads cleaner this way. Then, like a pat on the head, don't worry, I'll make sure people know you helped. By lunch, congratulations were rolling through Slack, for Brendan. He added our jealous teammate, Kelsey, as a co-presenter in the recap thread. Kelsey replied with fireworks emojis and, Ava, thanks for pulling the data so fast. Pulling the data, like I'd been an intern fetching coffee. I went home and opened my laptop to collect receipts, get history with my commits, file timestamps, calendar invites where I ran the working sessions, screen recordings I'd made explaining the model. I wasn't going to start a war, I told myself. I just needed the truth in one place. The next morning, I asked Brendan for a quick sync. That deck was my work, I said, voice steady. I need my contribution documented ahead of the promotion committee. His smile thinned. Ava, you're sounding territorial. This is a team. Territorial. The word stuck like gum on a shoe. Then let's represent the team honestly, I said. I sent my packet to HR with a polite summary, documenting authorship and scope ahead of the review cycle. An hour later, Kelsey posted a fun team moment photo in #culture, her and Brandon at the client lunch I wasn't invited to. The caption, when collaboration pays off clinking glasses. A few DMs trickled in, didn't you do that whole thing? I typed and deleted a dozen replies. HR pinged me for a chat. The chat felt like a performance review I hadn't agreed to. We've heard concerns about tone, HR said. Multiple teammates feel you make solo decisions and struggle to share credit. I actually laughed. What decisions? I asked. The ones I documented line by line? HR's expression didn't change. Let's keep this constructive, she said. Perception matters. Perception. Not truth. Not evidence. Perception. By the end of the week, the promotion memo came out. Brendan announced a strategic title adjustment for himself. Kelsey received a raise and a dotted line leadership role on my project. My name didn't appear anywhere. The email called the Falcon Ridge work a testament to Brendan's vision and Kelsey's cross-functional leadership. I closed my laptop and stared at my hands. The breaking point wasn't the stolen credit. It was realizing that the system liked it that way. It preferred people who absorbed impact and disappeared. It needed me to stay quiet so it could keep working as designed. So I stopped being quiet. I made 2 folders, Receipts and Next Chapter. In Receipts, I placed everything in order. Version histories with my timestamps and authorship. The architecture diagram in my handwriting from the whiteboard photo. Calendar recordings where I led the dry runs while Brendan skipped for a lunch. Email threads from the client with "Thanks Ava, this is exactly what we needed." A Slack thread where Kelsey asked me how to interpret the cohorting logic she later called her framework. I wrote a respectful, factual summary to ensure continuity and trust, documenting work authorship and the risks of misrepresentation. No adjectives. No rants. Just facts. I didn't send it to HR. I sent it to the client, the director who had been most engaged, and CC'd 2 executives who prized credibility above politics. I attached the dashboard access logs that showed who last edited what, and a loom where I walked through the model, on camera, with my face and voice. I expected silence or an explosion. What came back was colder. The client wrote, "We value transparency. We were under the impression Brendan built this. Please advise." The executive replied 15 minutes later, "We'll take this offline." By afternoon, Brendan's calendar was a wall of red. Kelsey's too. No one spoke to me for 2 days. Then the CIO caught me in the hall. "Did you send the client a packet?" he asked. "I sent them the truth," I said. He looked at me for a long time like he was calibrating a compass. "Good," he said finally, and walked away. The fallout was quiet but thorough. Brendan was moved to a different business unit, the kind of exile that looks like a lateral move on LinkedIn but feels like a curtain closing. Kelsey lost her dotted line role and was assigned to documentation for a quarter. HR asked me to partner on rebuilding trust. I declined the unpaid emotional labor. I wish I could say I stayed and finally got what I deserved. I didn't. I built Next Chapter. I messaged 3 people in my network with a simple note: "I own the Falcon Ridge model work you saw. If you're hiring for someone to build and tell the story, I'm listening." One of them replied the same day, "Come by tomorrow." I did. They asked to see the dashboard. I opened my laptop and showed them what I had made, without anyone's name on top but mine. They made an offer on the spot. More pay. Real title. Clear scope. A team where credit is a currency backed by proof. I gave my 2 weeks. Brendan didn't make eye contact. Kelsey sent a Slack that read "Best of luck" with a confetti gif. HR asked if I'd do an exit interview. I said yes. In the form, under reason for leaving, I wrote, "I chose to stop subsidizing people who mistake extraction for leadership." On my last day, I sent the team a clean handoff doc and a short note: "I hope someone here starts measuring contribution by work produced rather than volume spoken in meetings." Then I turned in my badge and walked out into a clarity that felt like oxygen. 6 months later, I wake up before my alarm because I'm excited, not anxious. My new boss puts my name on decks without me asking. When I say, "I built this," nobody corrects me to "we" to make themselves bigger. We win work because we show our work. Sometimes I pass our old office on the way to the train. I don't look up. I don't need to. I can feel the ghost of who I was inside that building, the woman who sent midnight fixes and ate cold dinners at her desk while someone else rehearsed her lines. I wish I could tell her what I know now, that walking away wasn't surrender. It was strategy. They tried to erase me from my own work. Instead, they erased themselves from my future. I didn't raise my voice. I raised the standard. I didn't beg for credit. I kept the receipts. And when they changed the rules to make me small, I changed the arena. My name is Ava Ramirez. I built the model. I told the story. And when the people in the room pretended not to hear me, I found a better room. If you've ever been turned into the background of your own work, ask yourself this: what happens when you stop asking for a seat and bring your own table?